let's talk about Desmond Ridder replacements for 2024. Because call me crazy, I don't think Desmond Ridder is going to be this team's starting quarterback in 2024. I'd love to see Ridder finish the year on a high note, take Atlanta to the postseason. But the way he's played through the first, nearly 20 starts of his NFL career, I don't think he's on a path to come back as the starter next season. So we're going to check out 5 potential trade targets for Atlanta. And let's get started with, not some very good options. And this is more of a eye-opener for everyone watching. There are not a lot of great veteran QB trade targets this offseason. You've got Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, and Daniel Jones. 3 guys who have not been good this season. And I don't really know how you want to rank them in terms of which one is better than the other. They're all bad in my eyes. Mac Jones has been benched multiple times at this point of his NFL career. Kenny Pickett, I think, is lucky to be in a great place like Pittsburgh where they always churn out wins and they can kind of cover up some of their mistakes and ugliness because he has not been a very good quarterback, in my opinion. And Daniel Jones, man, talk about the worst thing that ever happened to New York was winning that playoff game against the Vikings because it got them to buy in on DJ, and he regressed back to what we saw the first few years of his NFL career. In all 3 of their careers, none of them have really impressed me. Mac Jones had a good rookie season. Kenny Pickett, I don't think he has more touchdown passes than Johnny Manziel at this point of his NFL career. Daniel Jones has the most usage of the bunch, but we have seen enough out of Daniel Jones to know he is not a guy that can take you deep into the postseason. I would take drinking bleach before any of these 3 quarterbacks as your starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm kind of joking, but also maybe not. Just a little shot. How much damage could that really do? Because there's a lot of mental damage right there watching any of those 3 quarterbacks start for the Falcons next year and the years beyond if Atlanta does make a trade for one of them. So let me know before we look at 2 much better options. Will Desmond Ridder return as the starter in 2024? Chime in for me down in the comment section. This is the pinned comment, so if she sticks an ad break right after I'm done talking, take advantage of it, scroll on down, and type Y for yes or N for no. Now, a much better option for Terry Fontenot and company is Kyler Murray. This is a much more preferred option compared to the first 3 quarterbacks we looked at. Kyler Murray, who signed that 5-year, $230 million contract extension back in last July, did not look like a $230 million contract, $230 million player in 2022. Of course, he tore his ACL, unfortunately, midway through the season. And Arizona, sitting now at 3 wins, currently owns the 3rd pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. So don't be surprised if the Cardinals maybe decide to go a different direction next year if they have an opportunity to select Caleb Williams or Drake May and they figure, you know what, let's just start all over, sort of a new regime down in the desert anyway. This might be an opportunity for them to hit the reset button hardcore. Now, Kyler, throughout the last 4 seasons, has played some great football. We saw why he got a $230 million extension from what he did in 2020 and 2021. Nearly 4,000 yards passing in each season, combined 50 touchdowns to 22 interceptions. But then last year we saw a regression, and then unfortunately that injury. And this year, since taking over, we saw what he did against Atlanta back in Week 10. He led them to a victory. He led them to a victory on the road in Pittsburgh last week. So Kyler Murray, I think, is picking up sort of where he left off back in 2021. Now, when it comes to the finances behind a Kyler Murray trade, it's not going to be cheap for Arizona or for a team trading for Murray because he signed that 5-year, $230 million contract. The Cardinals would incur a $46 million dead cap hit in 2024. The cap savings would be $5.6 million if they trade him before June 1st. Now, if they trade him after June 1st in 2024, here's what the post-June 1 trade would look like. 2024 dead cap hit for Arizona is down to $13 million. Their 2025 dead cap hit is $33 million. So both are very digestible numbers in terms of cap hits on the books. Like Matt Ryan has the NFL biggest dead cap hit ever at $40 million when he went to Indianapolis. So neither of those dead cap hits would be near NFL record money. Now, before we get on to what a potential trade could look like for Kyler Murray, I do want to tell all of our awesome viewers about our great sponsor today, Prize Picks. Thanks to Prize Picks, I've had an absolute blast watching football and basketball, winning up to 25 times my money this season, and I invite you to come play along with me. Here's how Prize Picks works. You select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. So, for Thursday Night Football, which might not scream like must-see TV, well, with Prize Picks, you can stay locked in on the game because I'm taking the more on Ezekiel Elliott's rushing attempts. No Ramondre Stevenson for the Patriots, so it's 16.5. I'll take the more for Zeke. I like the more on Jaylen Warren's rushing yards. He is, in my opinion, the best running back in Pittsburgh, and Najee Harris is battling a knee injury. And then finally, I'll take the more on the Patriots kicker at 4.5 points. The Patriots kicked 2 field goals last week against the Chargers. They only might get 2 more field goals again this week offensively. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. We all know there can be some absolute stinkers of primetime matchups, but with Prize Picks, you can stay locked in on any game. Now, because I love you guys so much, I put that link down in the comments and description of today's video. So go check that out at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for that first deposit match up to $100. Thank you, Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Now, here's that trade idea I was talking about. What about Kyler Murray to Atlanta for a 2025 fifth-round draft pick in exchange for a 2024 first, a 2024 third, and a 2025 second-round pick? So a first, a second, and a third, but not exactly in that order. I know that might seem a little bit rich, but just stick with me for a moment. It might not look as expensive or as costly as you might think. But if you were in charge and this was the trade that came across your desk, would you do it? A for accept, D for decline. This is your opportunity to play deal or no deal. Are you taking the deal or no deal? Let me know down in the comment section. Now, personally, I am in, I think, what is the minority at this point of the, I don't think Kyler Murray is washed camp. Like, I think way too many people were quick to jump on Kyler Murray's washed, Kyler Murray sucks. That was an awful contract by Arizona. I've seen a lot of really good years out of Kyler Murray. So something tells me one bad season from Kyler last year compared to 3 to 4 good seasons of Kyler beforehand, which one do you think is the outlier? The 3 good seasons or the 1 okay to bad season? I'm going to go with the 1 to okay to bad season as the outlier. Now, he definitely has some leadership concerns, in my opinion, but I think with age and maybe just less Call of Duty time, he can mature out of those issues. Now, I remember back in April when we talked about Lamar Jackson potentially coming to Atlanta, the comment section was just livid with the idea of giving up draft compensation for a good quarterback. I just want to show you guys what Atlanta's first and second and third round picks have looked like the last couple of years. So let's check out the Falcons' first round draft picks going back to 2017. Now, you might be thinking, Petey, I would not want to trade the possibility of getting Bijan or Drake London and more for Kyler Murray. I'm here to say Bijan, London, and Pitts were all selected in the top 10. I don't think Atlanta's going to be picking in the top 10 this year. If they continue winning at 6-6 right now, they get to 8 or 9 wins, that pick is going to be towards 14, 15, or 16, where those guys, they don't get to. So now we're talking about not just trading a first rounder, but somewhere in the range of like a, not Caleb McGarry towards the end of the first round, but more towards the Calvin Ridley-esque, maybe a Chris Lindstrom level first round pick. Okay? Now what about a second round pick? I'll just say a hot take right now. I'd rather have Kyler Murray than Takk McKinley, Marlon Davidson, or Troy Anderson, and then pick whoever you want from Atlanta's recent third-round picks, right? Sure, there are some good selections there, but I also think this is a good reminder that the NFL draft is a crapshoot. So you're telling me you don't want to trade a third-rounder because that third-round pick could be Jalen Mayfield? could be Austin Hooper or Duke Riley. Like, yes, there are some hits in rounds 2 and 3, but don't act like every first and second and third round pick is an automatic Pro Bowl caliber player. It's a good reminder that the NFL draft is not a guarantee, but you know what you have in Kyler Murray. And I think Kyler Murray is a very, very talented quarterback. So call me crazy. I'd rather have Kyler than the 14th pick and Arnold Ebiketie and Jalen Mayfield. Sorry. Now, my 5th and final trade target for the Falcons is Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears quarterback. Former 11th overall pick by the Bears out of Ohio State a few years ago. And this is my number one target. If I'm Atlanta, if I'm Terry Fontenot, Justin Fields is at the top of my billboard, is at the top of my whiteboard, at the top of my anything board, Pinterest, whatever you want to call it. He's my go-to guy if I'm the Falcons, because I think Justin Fields is an extremely talented quarterback that right now is not in a very good situation with awful coaching in Chicago. Truly embarrassing, awful coaching, top to bottom. An organization that has not had a lot of success and a lot of stability and overall just a lot of brains for the last decade plus. And Fields, unfortunately, has become a victim of that, but put in a better situation with a much better head coach, in my opinion, in Arthur Smith compared to Matt Eberflus. I think Fields could be an incredible quarterback, and he still might be one in Chicago. When we look at Fields' passing stats the last 3 years and overall his entire career in the NFL, he's yet to reach 3,000 yards, but he's definitely got an ability to run the football as well to help move the ball down the field. I mean, look at Justin Fields' rushing stats through 3 seasons so far. Broke Michael Vick's 2022 record at 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground that season. Justin Fields is an absolute weapon. He can bomb it down the field. I know that the lazy QB analysis armchair take is, oh, he can't throw it from the pocket. Go watch the tape. If you actually watch the tape, Justin Fields can absolutely throw it down the field from the pocket. He is extremely athletic and mobile. And I think about what Arthur Smith likes in a quarterback. Look at his last few picks of QBs. Desmond Ridder. What does Desmond Ridder do all the time in the red zone on QB options? He keeps it. He runs it in himself. Who did Arthur Smith go out and sign in free agency last year? Marcus Mariota, a guy who can run with the football. So we have seen Arthur Smith prioritize rushing abilities in quarterbacks. And Justin Fields can bring you that option. He's also a hometown kid, right? From Kennesaw, turns 25 years old in March, so a long career ahead of him. So I think it just makes a lot of sense for both sides. For Fields to come back to Georgia and for the Falcons to get themselves an upgrade, in my opinion, over Desmond Ridder. Now, his projected 2025 fifth-year option, by the way, which a decision has to be made on that, whether it's the Bears or some team he gets traded to, because I don't know if you know this, the Chicago Bears currently hold the Carolina Panthers' first-round pick, which is slated to be pick number 1, which I think is going to be Caleb Williams. So Fields might play very well down the stretch, but maybe not play well enough to stay in Chicago if the Bears could go get Caleb Williams at number 1. So here's my trade idea. Justin Fields and a 4th-round pick to Atlanta for a 2024 first-round pick. I think if Fields plays really well for the next 5 games, it might cost you more than a 2024 first-round pick. But if we continue to see good moments from Fields and then hey, we got to work on that moment from Fields, it might only cost you a first-rounder. Maybe it's a first and a 5th or something, but I don't think it's going to cost you as much as Kyler Murray, because I bet if you polled 32 GMs right now, hey, if you had to pick a quarterback to start with tomorrow, would you rather have Kyler Murray or Justin Fields? I think more are going to pick Kyler Murray because there's just a bigger body of evidence that Kyler Murray has shown he can be a successful passer. Whereas with Fields, we've seen a lot of great moments from him, but I think there is more to be said about his growth in the NFL compared to Kyler Murray's. But I am still a much bigger fan of Justin Fields long term. I think he can be a very, very special quarterback, and in the right system, he can really thrive. And I think Atlanta would be a very good destination if the Bears decide to go draft a quarterback because they get them. I mean, think of for Chicago for a moment, right? I mean, we'll run through these two trades for a second here, and you can tell me which one you want to pick. But if you're Chicago and you don't see enough from Fields to know he's the guy, and someone calls and offers you a first-round pick for him, I mean, you're thinking, we already have the first overall pick from Carolina. Our pick is going to be between 3 through 6 somewhere. And then we could get an additional third first-round draft pick. That might be too tempting for Ryan Poles in Chicago to pass on. So I think there's a very real chance that the Bears, even if Fields plays well, may move on from him because the current GM didn't draft him, and he might want to make his own QB selection in Caleb Williams or even Drake May. So pick a trade for me. Would you rather go with Justin Fields or Kyler Murray? I would go with Justin Fields, but I want your opinion down below in the comment section. All right, that's going to do it for us on this edition of Falcons Today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, Justin Fields would be my selection between these two QBs. I think Kyler Murray is better than people are giving him credit for, but if you can get Justin Fields for less, and I think it would cost less to get Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields could very well end up being better than Kyler Murray one day, to me, it's a no-brainer. I'll take Justin Fields.